Welcome to the learning journey. Sandra Collins and Melissa J.
Sensei, hello, welcome. I'm Melissa.
Hello, and I'm Sandra.
We are so grateful that you are here and that you, in some way, somehow found your way to this book, and we're very excited to be on this journey together.
And we really are grateful for each of you being willing to invest the time and energy um, to be exposed to and listen to all of the voices that have come together to make this book what it is.
Yes. And Sandra and I have had the gift of being able to be in relationship as we've co-created this with so many beautiful humans. And something that's been a support to us is a grounding. When we come together, we envision that we are gathering in a circle, and it's choice based, but if it fits for you, you might join Sandra and I in a grounding just to open our time together here. And so wherever you are, you might be happy just as you are. You don't have to do anything or make anything happen. But I'm going to just like kind of wiggle around in my chair and get a little bit more comfortable. And perhaps you want to soften your gaze, or perhaps you'd like to close down your eyes. Wherever you are, maybe just taking a moment to notice what it's like to shift your gaze inward. And so for me, that means just starting to notice my breath. If that fits for you, you might just notice your inhale. Notice your exhale. Without needing to change anything or make anything happen, perhaps just being curious about what it's like to notice the land is here supporting you. I wonder what it's like to just notice your mind, noticing what's happening in your mind, or their thoughts, or their images, memories, and perhaps just welcoming your mind here into this moment. Noticing your body, maybe noticing any sensation that feels present in your body, maybe noticing any part of your body that's calling your attention. What would it be like to just welcome your body to be here just as it is? And perhaps bringing awareness to your heart space and maybe just checking in with your physical heart. Maybe you can feel it beating. Perhaps checking in with your energetic heart, this capacity for care, noticing your heart. And perhaps checking in with your spirit, whatever spirit means for you. And what would it be like to invite your spirit, your heart, your mind, and your body to be here now? What's beautiful as we come together to begin this journey, that regardless of where we are, that we are all interconnected here through land and water. So you might take a nice big inhale once again. Nice big exhale. Perhaps there's a word or an image or a color that you'd like to call in that maybe could be a support to you as you begin this journey. The word that comes up for me is trust. Trusting the process, trusting the journey. When you feel ready, you might start to reconnect with your space and maybe noticing anything that captures your attention. And then you might come back here to our shared space. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for practicing, and thanks to everyone who's practicing with us.
The word that came up for me was gratefulness.
Mm.
And gratefulness for you, gratefulness for this space that we've shared over these last 2 years. And also, I'm grateful for all of the people that have been, like you said, interconnected through land and water and this web of relationships to us. And now welcoming the new connections through those of you who are joining us for the first time as readers of this book and participants in this journey. One of the things that I wanted to talk about just briefly is the the way in which this whole book has evolved so organically over time. It was 2 years ago in the springtime that you and I met and thought, "Oh, what are we gonna do? And do we wanna do this? And how would we go about this?" And I couldn't have imagined at that point what this journey that we've been on together would look like. Now, I'm watching the asparagus start to come up in the garden and things are blooming all over. And I just feel like this book has been so much like that, that has been this sort of surprise evolution of both ways of being and ways of doing, but also just the whole big picture of how we ended up landing on the pieces that are in the book and the ways in which it's kind of been framed. And so, yeah, I'm really grateful for that and kind of astounded at that.
I feel the same, Sandra. It's amazing to think back 2 years from now and to see where we've got to, and we could not have got to where we are without incredible collaborators, and
Mm,
so we really just wanna say with such love and gratitude that we have had some amazing souls walk alongside us in co-creating this offering. So Sandra and I are here welcoming you, but we are alongside, I think there's 76 of us who have contributed to creating this. And we've had a number of Indigenous elders, knowledge keepers, scholars, and wisdom holders who have in so many ways supported us in finding our path and creating the path, and we've stayed committed to wanting to really be curious about what decolonizing means and what decolonizing looks like and feels like with regards to health, healing, and care. And it's with their guidance that we've been able to arrive at where we are today. And so, yeah, Kininiskomitin, very grateful for
mm.
each of you who have contributed.
Yes, thank you to everyone. I also wanted to do a little shout out to some of the people who have been background supporters of this work. And so I've worked with Chris Fox for many years as an editor, and I am grateful to have had this opportunity to work again with her in this book and to have her feminist, critical thinking eye on and lens on the ways in which we word things, and also on the very detailed bits of editing that she's done. And I'm also really grateful for Marianne Flatt, who is an Indigenous woman, Anishinaabe, and who has joined us as sensitivity editor in this book. And we have learned much from you, Marianne, and have been very grateful for your careful eye on the ways in which we engage in decolonization and indigenization of this work and of our practices. And that's something I'm really grateful for in this work that we've done. And also for my dear friend Kim Ashbourne, who has functioned as digital accessibility consultant in this work and has really helped me to refine things as we've put things into Vital Source and make choices about how we organize that in a way that is digitally accessible and reflects justice doing. So, Kim, thank you. One of the things that I found most amazing about this book and this process, Melissa, has been how people have just showed up. So, I mean, there have been literally times when I have been sitting, editing a chapter and thinking, oh, I really need somebody to speak to that. And then somebody emails me about something completely unrelated, someone I don't know, and tells me some story. And I think that's exactly the story that I need for this piece of the book. And so there we are, and, it's just been amazing to me how it's part of the organic, process, I guess, is how people have just presented themselves to us, through existing and through new relationships, and, um, I think that's what's made this process so exciting and so interesting, and often the gaps that they showed up to fill were pieces that we had no idea we had even missed, and so the other thing that I'm really humbled by has been the commitment of people. And there are not people in here who have just shown up because they need something on their CV. People have shown up with their heart and shown up in vulnerability and in commitment to humanity. And so I really am grateful for the ways in which that commitment has shone. The commitment to settler Indigenous relationships, for one thing, the commitment to disrupt the current conventions around counseling and psychology in a decolonial and anti-pathologizing and anti-oppressive way, and also a commitment to social change and to finding ways to shape the world that eliminates some of the inequities and injustices that, in many ways, just seem to be getting bigger. And so I think the commitment is there by so many people to see justice happen in so many ways. And that's expressed through their work in this book.
I love that, Sandra, and I feel so present to the fact that this book has been written in relationship,
Mm,
starting with our relationship, which
mhm,
we've been connected and since 2009, and I love just being being part of our evolution of our friendship, and you've been a
mm,
mentor of mine for that long, and so our relationship has bloomed in so many ways over the last 2 years, and then we've also invited in so many others to be in relationship with us, and so for those who are reading and here in the book, you're in relationship with us as well, and yeah, this all exists within relationship, and we're just grateful that you're here.
mm. Our hope for this book is that you, as our readers, all see yourselves in the pathways and practices. You and I, Melissa, one of the things that we share in common is that we both straddle privilege and marginalization. And so, this nuanced positionality that we hold reminds me, and I know it reminds you, that we can both be oppressor and oppressed in different moments in our lives, and that we have to be consciously critical of how we are showing up in the spaces that we are part of. And so, one of the things that I want to invite you as readers coming into this work to do is to find the places that fit for you in this book. And we hope that for some of you, it will speak comfort to your struggle to belong, and that all of you will take up the challenge to be your best selves as human beings, as cultural beings, and especially as healers.
Amazing, Sandra. Yes, and my hope for all of us as we continue this journey together is to really, and you'll hear me say this throughout the book, like to really lean into
Mm,
the places of discomfort. I say this like I'm a broken record. You will hear me say it many times that when we lean into discomfort, we have so much opportunity for growth. And for myself, I know that I'm always unlearning. I'm often unlearning more than I am learning. And so to make that possible is just being curious about who can support us and how we can feel supported in our growth journeys so that when we hit up against something that creates discomfort, that we won't just shy away from it,
mm,
try and get away from it quickly, but instead be curious about it and be present to it in a way that feels like there's an okayness there. That we can be curious, why is there discomfort here? And that again, we're not doing this in isolation. This is all happening in the context of relationship and community. And so I know Sandra and I hope that this can be a resource for you in your studies, but also in your profession, so that
mm,
when if and when you need, you can return here to walk alongside us down these pathways. And when I say us, I mean all of those who have contributed to this.
mm.
Thank you for being here.